terrible. I know, right? Where's my face?
Welcome everyone to another action figure review, as I have the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Monkey D. Luffy based on the Netflix hit series One Piece, as Tamashii Nations made their first attempt in building the live action line. Of course, they have done plenty of One Piece figures in the past, albeit based on the manga and anime. So in this review, I will try my best to not compare it too much. I know when people watch the anime or read the manga, they will make comparisons, but this is solely based on the live action version. So anything you see in this, Tamashii Nations are only basing it on the series and not the anime. And I must admit, I was kind of skeptical on this release because this was announced before the series was aired, I believe, or at least before I watched it. And as always, when you adapt a very popular anime like One Piece, you do kind of get worried. However, after watching the series, I thoroughly enjoyed it and I really like the characters. So all I can say is I'm looking forward to season 2. So let's begin with the packaging. It is the standard SH Figuarts, the smallest box. And I really like the colors they've used. It's a sunset view to give it that really relaxing atmosphere. And as you can see, it uses a real photo of the character, the actor Inaki Goroi, which I do prefer because sometimes they use a picture of the figure. And then we have the usual kind of logos and stickers. It does say a Netflix series, One Piece. And then on the side, of course, we have a shot of the logo, Netflix, and then the ship as well. And then on the other side, we have a shot of the figure with the logo. And then at the top, you can see really nice colors. And then the bottom. And then at the back, we have the figure in different poses. So let's get Monkey D. Luffy out of his packaging and take a closer look. So inside we have a nice blue background, and then we also have the instruction manual to show you how to put on the accessories. And here is the Monkey D. Luffy figure inside its packaging. So here is the first look at the Monkey D. Luffy figure right out of its packaging, and my first impressions, I do like the overall sculpt of this. No doubt this is a good resemblance to the character in my opinion. And this is a very classic look of Luffy from the anime as well. So you have the straw hat, the red vest, the blue jeans. And I guess they couldn't have done it any other way. If you want the classic display look, then you gotta have the colors of Luffy. And even though he wore many different attires in the series, I guess the best option was to go for this one. And just the overall proportions also look pretty nice. Taking out of the box, he does feel quite tall, and I noticed that for the vest it is a separate piece from the actual body just to make it a bit more realistic. So technically I think you could remove it if you want, not that I would do that, but then obviously the trousers are sculpted in, and then we have his shoes instead of sandals, which I just noticed. Yeah, and just this is pretty much the classic look of Luffy. From the back, it kind of looks like the anime version. And I know that the face sculpt is probably the most important thing, because if they don't get that right, then it's pretty much pointless in getting this figure. Then you might as well just buy the anime version. But I feel that they have got the face scanning technique done well. So I am happy with it, even though it's like a neutral look. He does kind of have a smirk to him if you look at it from certain angles. I would have preferred it if they had like a smiling or grinning face, which in the series, like 90% of the time, he does have that look. But it looks like they've just gone for like a normal kind of smile. And then for the straw hat, I noticed that it's not removable. It's actually stuck on the head. So I guess it's okay. But for the anime figures, I noticed that you can actually remove the hat and then swap out the face plates. But I guess for live action, it might not quite work. But in terms of the details, I do like it. And obviously the whole attire is painted like a real person's clothing, even though, as once again from the back, it kind of looks like an anime figure. But at the front, you can see, no doubt, it's a really good look. Okay, after going through the instruction manual, I do notice that you can in fact remove the straw hat, the head sculpt, and replace the faceplate with the alternative one. So now we can take a look at the accessories. So another shot here of the face sculpt, which of course has the straw hat. And now we're going to switch it up with the alternative head sculpt. So here is the alternative head sculpt placed on, which of course does not have the straw hat. And he has this kind of neutral look this time rather than the smirk. And again, I guess it's okay. I think it does have the resemblance to the actor. However, I just wish they would have added a bit more expressions to the face scanning technique. I know that Luffy does have some serious moments in the fights, but most of the time in the series he's smiling or laughing, so maybe that would have been a better option. And here is a look at the alternative faceplate placed onto the head sculpt with the straw hat. And here is the original faceplate placed onto the alternative head sculpt without the straw hat. And next we can take a look at the hand accessories. So the one right out of the packaging is the closed fists. So the first set of alternative hands, we have some relaxed palms. We also get a set of open palms. And we get one extra right hand, which is a palm for the salute pose. Of course, for each of the different hands, you can play around with it for some classic Luffy poses. And just for fun, here is the SH Figuarts Luffy anime head sculpt placed onto the body. So now let's take a look at the articulation of the figure. So starting off with the head sculpt. So it can move side to side, no problem, rotate round and round. And even though there is a straw hat, it doesn't get in the way. And then you can move it side to side. And you can tilt it downwards and upwards this much. And there's a rotation on the head sculpt. And for the arms, no problem, he is wearing a vest. So side to side, it can move forwards, upwards, backwards, outwards this much, and then inwards this much. And you can see it does have a bicep swivel as well as the bend. And then you can see the hand also has rotation, and there should be a hinge as well. And then for the body, since the vest is one plastic piece, you might have some restrictions. So in terms of the full body twist, it can turn kind of side to side, but not too much. But you can see if you move it forward, it does take the figure apart. So just be very careful, move it forwards and then backwards, not so much as well. Once again, this kind of goes apart. So not much there in terms of the body, but you can tilt it side to side. And then for the legs, they kick forwards, no problem. And then it rotates backwards like this. And you can do the stretches. And then there's a thigh turn. And also a full knee bend. And then there's also the foot where there's rotation, and there's also a toe hinge. So apart from the body, the articulation is okay, but I guess for Luffy, he doesn't need to be in too much dynamic poses. Of course, one of his other poses he can do is by sitting down, which shouldn't be a problem. So you can see there's good articulation and movement there. So yeah, that's the articulation. And now for some size comparisons, starting off with his fellow SH Figuarts One Piece figures with the Raidon Onigashima line with Luffy and Zoro, as well as the SH Figuarts version of Sanji from the Raidon Onigashima. Here it is next to the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Trunks, as well as next to a Mafex Superman and Batman. And finally next to a Marvel Legends Spider-Man and Jada Toys Ken Masters. So now for my final thoughts on the Netflix series Monkey D. Luffy SH Figuarts. Overall, this is a decent figure for what it is, as it does resemble the live action version in my opinion. It is a simple figure, but the colours, proportions, the head scan is all good. The only thing I'll say is there's not enough face expressions. I know this isn't an anime figure, but he was smiling 90% of the time in the series, and even one scene when he stretches his mouth. I also feel that this figure is missing the Gum Gum attack limbs, where there's a long stretchy arm. That would make the figure a lot more exciting to pose with. And since Luffy doesn't have anything going for him in terms of the weapons, I feel that that was very important. Even so, they could have added some additional accessories like a food piece or a map or some sort of accessories that link to the series. I know it sounds like I'm criticizing this figure a lot, but I do like it overall. It's just lacking something to give it that extra to go on a display. So I feel that the Zoro figure will be a lot more interesting as he will have swords, and Nami may also have something to hold on to as well. But the most important thing for me is Luffy not having a laughing head sculpt. So my score is a 6 out of 10. I like what they have done, but it's just nothing to be really excited for. However, there's still an option where they include the accessory in another figure. Maybe it's too late to include one in Zoro or Nami, so hopefully they add Usopp and Sanji in the line just to have the full team. So for me, this is a figure for those who really enjoy the series, but even then you may opt for the anime versions of these characters. Like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more reviews. Thanks for watching.